I mean, a five-star human being first and foremost. And I think it starts there, raised by great parents and as a product of everything that those two people have put into this young man. And he's been nothing but a first-class person since he's been here, handled his role at a very high level, and whatever that may have been. Sometimes it's not easy to be a backup and not know when your number is going to be called. And when it is called, it's a different story to go in there and play at a high level. And he's done that to this point in time in his career, both last year and this year. So I don't expect anything different from him in this football game. I expect him to go out and play really well, and I expect our guys to rally around him at a high level.
How do you feel about going into the bowl game with an all-new backfield?
Well, I mean, I think that our team has dealt with adversity all year long and handled it very well. I mean, we've had, a potential draft pick at safety go out in the middle of the year, and his backup is a redshirt freshman who comes in and he's the player of the game on our team. I mean, it's just there's for instances of that. 3 different defensive ends at the same position that have played at a really high level. Conference player of the week, at that position, and done a really good job of filling in when the need has been there. So that's the approach, next man up mentality. Everybody says that's kind of coach talk, but our team has lived that all year long.
With Tucker having had that experience, especially last season, getting those 3 starts, just how does that help him during this preparation?
Well, I mean, obviously he's been here a while. It's not like this is a freshman that's walking into a new situation. So a lot of credibility that guy has built with his teammates, a lot of credibility from the coaching staff. A guy that, like I said, is, as I just mentioned, has played at a high level when he's had his opportunities. So does yesterday's home runs win today's games? They do not, but gives you the confidence leading into the game that he should play well.
With the success you guys have had this year, you guys on the verge of a 12th win, which hasn't happened in over 50 years. Just in terms of what's on the line, in terms of what you guys could possibly do to cap this season, what does that mean?
Yeah, I mean, that stuff those are postseason narratives and storylines for another day. I mean, this is more of a focus on making sure our seniors get their last win together and enjoying this experience that they've been able to have this week. And everybody from this bowl committee and everybody in this bowl trip has been first class, and we want to finish a first class experience out the right way.
For the most part, when Arizona has brought players in through the portal, they look for a connection of some sort. You had a connection with your quarterbacks coach, Coach Weiner, to a couple guys, Judge and Tucker. Is that how that kind of got started with those?
Well, I mean, I think that we wouldn't. Our number one thing is we want to make sure that in the transfer portal we don't do anything to disrupt the culture of our locker room. So anybody that we've brought in, whether it's Dallas Gann, a hometown guy from Toledo St. John's who went to Ohio State, or Judge Culpepper or Tucker Gleason, these guys that we recruited out of high school, and that connection with Coach Weiner was that was my recruiting area before I became the head coach. So when he was a high school coach, there's a connection there. So you always, I mean, that's the name of the game in today's world. I mean, you're always trying to double down on those relationships and make sure that the young man, when he comes into your program, number one, doesn't disrupt the culture, but number two, he's really comfortable in his role as well.
Do you expect Judge to play in the game?
I do.
Saturday? Given what he very recently went through medically, are you surprised about that at all?
Well, I mean, I'm not a doctor and I'm not a surgeon and I'm certainly not a cancer specialist, but my gosh, the human being and the person that he is and the mental makeup of that man is really it's a story to be told, because it's just who he is. I mean, it's a football family, it's a sports family. He was raised that way, and to do the right thing. I mean, he's got a sour taste in his mouth of being, having to leave the MAC championship game for a targeting foul that, cost him that game, and he wants to come out and play with his guys one more time, and he's going to do everything in his power to make sure that happens. And I commend him for it, because it's none of us have ever been through that what he's gone through, and for him to fight through it, and it's a clear picture of what adversity looks like and the response to it.
You talked the other night about this being 12-month season. You got started winter conditioning in January, and now you're here on December 28th going your final practice. What does it mean to just be in this spot after all the work that these guys have put in and be on this field for your final practice?
Yeah, I mean, I like a lot of emotion when it comes to that, but a special group of guys, a special team, guys that you want to be around a lot. You know what I mean? You want to be around all the time, and it's just in years past and seasons past. I mean, you always have, tough times that happen throughout the course of the season, and it's like, man, it's a sour taste in your mouth. But these guys, my gosh, I mean, what a group to be around, what a group of people, of just first-class people, first and foremost, and then great players too. So it's a fun team to coach, and you'd want this season to go as long as it possibly can.
How do you balance enjoying tomorrow night's pep rally, which is usually not the night before a game, but balance enjoying the pep rally, enjoying the fan support and everything like that with
Well,
getting to bed, getting ready?
I mean, obviously, there's pageantry that goes along with college football. Bowl game's part of that. I mean, the week of events is what it is, and we're a very mature team, and I expect us just to handle that like we would handle anything else. I mean, it's you get a chance to play your 13th football game or your 14th football game. We've had a chance to do that the last 2 years, and our guys know that routine and know that drill, so I expect them to handle it very well.
When Daquan went into the portal and you had, I guess, a conversation, I'm sure, with Tucker, what was that conversation like? How did he react to the news that he'd be, elevated into that starting role?
Well, I mean, excited for the opportunity to go compete. Like any player would that is a competitor, and he's a true competitor and a guy that I think takes his role very serious. And then when, like I said before, when he's had his opportunities, he went in and played very well. So it's important to him. This team's important to him, and anybody who plays a quarterback position knows they play the most scrutinized position in sports. So they know what they've signed up for. They know that only one of those guys plays throughout the course of a football game. Being the quarterback's not like being a defensive end or being a receiver where you can contribute to other areas of the game, whether it be special teams or whatnot. So you got to be on it. You got to be on it when you're the QB. You got to be on it when you're the backup. You're one ankle sprain away from being the guy, and he's handled that role very well for 2 years, and I think he's ready for the opportunity.
Being out this far west, I'm sure there's an extending of the footprint for Toledo football to show people here kind of what that is, just kind of that opportunity to show people here in Arizona kind of what Toledo football is.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's that part of it. I think there's a part of it. Most of our team is probably not been west of Chicago in their lifetime. So to be able to see another, part of the country, I mean, I'm sitting here doing an interview looking at a mountain right now. I mean, my gosh, like some of these kids have never experienced anything like that. And so it's really cool to watch them go through that, first and foremost. But, the second piece of it is, if we come out here and we play really, really well, it spreads the brand of Toledo football and has a chance to maybe impact our recruiting in future years coming down the road here and maybe an opportunity for us to branch out some things.
I saw the sunscreen earlier. How are you enjoying the sun?
Well, I'd like it to be on a golf course somewhere, maybe tapping in on 17 or 18. But no, I mean, obviously, we don't get this in Ohio at this point in time, and this is a special time of year, and this is what bowl games are all about, in my opinion. A chance to take your team to a different place and expose your kids to new things, and hopefully it's in a warm climate like it has been the last couple of years for us. So this has been a great opportunity.
What's the depth chart at running back looking like?
Jacquez Stewart, start the game.
What can you tell us about him as a player?
Yeah, he went over 100 yards in the MAC championship game 2 years ago. Very capable player, excellent player. Expect him to play great.
How are the kids handling the weather being warmer, considerably warmer than it is in Ohio right now?
Well, we're going to joke about the sun, but it's in the 60s here. We're not in the 90s here. Come on now.
They're out in shorts and t-shirts. We're out. Locals are in hoodies and jeans. So
there you go. I think
you
you just answered your question. No, I mean, obviously they're enjoying it, and I mean, your mood just changes, right? When you go outside and you're not in a gray sky, you see the sun, and there's not a cloud in the sky. So I mean, it's been great. It's been awesome, and I'm not making light of your question. I just, these guys are certainly enjoying it, and you can see the energy just even in a walk through today. We're not doing much out here today, but you can see the energy and them just joking around and having fun and enjoying their time being out here together.
What are your top line takeaways on Wyoming on both sides of the ball?
A very physical football team, a team that I think is very well coached and very detailed in what they do in all three phases of the game. Team that makes you earn it. I mean, you just turn on the tape and watch their field goal block unit. I mean, play really, really hard in the things that an 18 to 22-year-old kid sometimes don't take serious when it comes to effort, and when those things show up on tape, whether it be your kickoff unit or your field goal block team, and it really grabs your attention, and it's a testament to them because, like I said, I know they're very well coached and a group that plays very, very physical.